Oh man, I haven't done this in 3 weeks, nigga. Oh. It's good, bro. You look so Asian with your eyes closed.
He looks. What do you look like?
What do I look like?
I don't know. My vision's worse than yours.
I look like. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was
So,
good.
How's your trip? 2 weeks on the boat.
I wasn't on the boat for 2 weeks.
Oh yeah. Well,
I was on the boat for a
trying to
week.
dramatize it.
I was on. I was getting shipped. All right. Damn. To them, it's like I would never even left. So people tune in every week. That's crazy. Because I've been gone since.
True.
When's the last time we recorded it? It was like November something.
18th.
No, December something.
I think it's the 18th.
December 18th.
Kaylee.
No.
Kaylee,
Kaylee, yeah.
Kaylee.
How was it 18th?
18th, I think. No. Oh, actually, it must have been earlier.
I think it was the 11th or
yeah,
12th.
I think it was earlier.
We recorded Paloma 11 and I think Kaylee the day after. So 12.
Oh, yeah.
So it's been like 3 weeks since the last time we recorded. And the magic of background string pulling, it's like I never left.
Yeah. at least virtually.
Yeah. Anyways, so I've been gone on a cruise for I've been gone from the country for like a week and a half, almost 2 weeks. I went on a cruise for a week, which started, I think, was it the 20th? We went to Nassau, Bahamas. We went to Grand Turks. And then we went to, what was it? What was the other one?
Italy?
The cruise was Italian themed. The architecture had nothing to do with Italy. It was actually disgusting. It looked like white people trying to do like ethnic shit.
Oh,
like,
so the girl on the cruise,
it looks
she was just
so
Italian.
ugly.
You didn't go to Italy.
No.
Oh, okay.
You thought I went to...
I don't know. You went on a cruise. How would I know?
Like, you know how far that is? You know how long I would have to be? Whatever.
Well, you've gone pretty long. So.
And then we went to Freeport, Bahamas, and we went to Amber Cove, Dominican Republic. And then we spent like, I think 2 days fully at sea from point A to point B. So it was just on the boat all day.
Silence. How's the silence like?
Oh, bro. Okay, so from this,
It's not working.
This was fully like trip. This was a trip.
Mm-hmm.
You know how you take a psychedelic drug, you like this was a trip,
Yeah.
and you just did nothing. Like I went on a trip, and it was a trip. Like it was.
No,
like,
I know those.
It was a.
Yeah.
Okay, because I went with the intention of like we've been practicing that for so long. So now we're like everything we do, especially when we're going into something new, it's like, all right, let's be mindful. Let's see what I can learn from this. Let's see what I can soak in from this, right? So I was like, let me see what I can learn. I've been around these because I'm Haitian. Like we're going to developing countries, quote unquote. So it's like I'm used to it, but that's not a reason why I can't learn something new.
Right.
Maybe there's things I've been overlooking from taking the place for granted because I was born in like that environment. And it was that. There was a shit I learned from country to country. What's cool is, I think I spoke like probably briefly. I texted you about that. The way people are so much more extroverted there because they kind of have to be.
Why do you think?
Because, everyone, how we say like in third world countries and developing countries, like it's always there. It's tighter.
Mm-hmm.
There's more community
Right.
because everyone kind of needs each other more because things are less automated. So there's a lot of more creativity needed. That's one. A lot more creativity needed because there's less resources. So they have to do with what they have. And then two, it's like they need to be extroverted because especially when it comes to selling, if they want to make a living, it's not automated for them. They need to figure out how they're going to like get the next sale. So you walk down the street. If you don't know how to say no as a tourist, you're fucked. Mm-hmm. Because there's 20 niggas flooding you left and right asking you to buy their product. Mm-hmm. And they're very convincing too. Like I'm used to it so I can engage and then not get anything. But the thing is, you're more likely to buy something if you're engaged with them. So you're supposed to just keep walking. But I kind of wanted to entertain to see how far they actually go to get you to buy shit. And it's beautiful. they're such good salesmen. Like they're
Like how?
such good
Like,
salesmen.
did you stick along? Like, did you stay along with one of them?
There was this guy, Lewis. That was Dominican Republic. Yeah, we got off, and then there's like this tourist place where you grab a cab, go on an excursion if you want. There's like the ones from the country, and then there are the ones that work with the cruise. You could pay for the one with the cruise through the app online. You get it all done, but it's a fixed price. And if you don't want to negotiate, then you just take it for the price that it is.
Right.
My parents are smart, and they're from there, so they're used to how to that too. They just know how to speak with people. It's like I could pay $30 per person, or I could go to someone and ask them what a discounted price for 3 people would be. So my mom ended up paying like, I think instead of 30 per person, she paid probably 30 for each of us, for all of us together. So it was 30 for 3 people instead of 30 per person, which would come to $90. I think it was something like that, maybe 50. So
Cheaper,
it was just
nonetheless.
independent people who just worked. We didn't go with the cruise. We went on our own. You could do whatever you want. They drop you off. You do whatever you want. And then at a certain time, you come back. If you're not there, gone. You figure it out from there.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So we went into the city, like took a tour from this guy, Angelo, his name was. Bro, I've been doing so good with names, nigga. Like, bro, this shit taught me so much about like just social interaction. So it's that. And then, yeah, it's just people approach you and they're not dicks. Like they know you're a tourist. So they know they can't approach you the same way that approach someone else who's from there. Like someone else, they'd be like, yo, buy my shit.
Automatically nicer just because they know you have the money.
Yeah. And they're not nicer because they're trying to necessarily influence you. Like they're okay if you don't want to buy shit. They're just not going to not try to sell you something. Like it's the game. It's like it's nothing personal if you say no, but you think it's something personal. So I'm just going to play with it until you say no. If you say no, it's sick. I'm backing off. I can't force you to buy it. Like it's illegal, right? So I'm just going to keep convincing you to buy it. So it's like, hey, you want to buy this? Like we have this. If you look towards them, they're going to be like, hey, come look. It doesn't hurt to look. Looking is free. Come.
This? No, you don't.
And then they
this?
just start showing you shit. And they know their shit. So they know how everything is made, what stones, if it's
They've been doing
a
this
jewel.
for a living.
Yeah. So they give you information. They tell you, they start giving you deals. Like for 3, you're getting 1 for free, blah, 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 blah. And then you're like, no. But then they're like, oh, man, it's not even that expensive. You're coming here on vacation. You're here to spend money, right? Like, blah, 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 blah. And then it's just like they're not
bombarding
afraid.
you with fucking just information and like trying to like a sales pitch.
They're
basically.
not afraid. So like it's not like they approach, you say no, and then they're like, all right.
Yeah.
No. Like because you know it's and that's how sales works. Like no is just not yet.
Yeah. Or on to the next.
Yeah. No is just like there's a threshold. I saw it actually from what's his name? Wolf of Wall Street. John Belfort, is that his name? Belfort. I know it's Belfort, his last name. The guy who Wolf of Wall Street is based on. Best like salesman ever until he got caught for fraud and then he whatever. And he shows you like there's a line which is the yes and then everything under is just the no's. But what people see is when you get a no, they just think you're under the line. But a no, when you first ask, goes like this. And then you ask again, it goes like this. And then you ask again, and it goes like this until you reach that tipping point and it turns into a yes. You just need to figure out how to speak to the person and bring them up to that line. So I saw that happen. And it was like with Lewis, it was like, hey, like calls me over. Like some people call me skinny. Hey, skinny. Like, bro, any way to get your attention, they'll do it. So you're getting off the bus and they're just a bunch of tables, each probably working independently. And then...
just vendors, street vendors.
Yeah. And then they rush to the car. The first one to get to you gets to you. He gets to me. He's like, come. I have shit over here. You can have a look. It doesn't hurt. And then since it's post-Christmas, he's like, here's a Christmas gift. Gives me a free bracelet, right? Good. Probably has margins enough to give shit away for free. It's a sales tactic, right? So he gives it to me and he's like, here's the matching necklaces. Do you like it? Oh yeah, I like it. Okay, here's a few necklaces that are made in the same way. So you start looking, you're like, oh shit, like you can match, blah, 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 blah. I know what he's doing. So I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna entertain it, blah, blah, blah. Tells me his name, asks me for mine. I'm like, I'm gonna look around. He's like, when you come back, like if you wanna get something, I'll be right here. I'm like, yeah, I'll only come to you if I need something. Cause there's like 5 other people. And then I come back and he's like, so blah, blah, blah. Like they're friendly. They're not pushing you to do anything. but they're not afraid of you. They're not afraid to ask.
Right.
And that's the thing I think that lacks here is that we're so afraid of rejection that we don't ask, which in turn ends up with you missing out on a lot of potential like things. Like if you believe in your product, you should be able to approach someone and sell it to them. And that's just one thing.
That's a big thing though. That's a really big one.
Yeah, I was telling Tim, I thought I told you, but I was telling Tim, I was like, wow, like the salesmanship is crazy because everyone is so, like, of course there's less technology too, so everyone is always out and they're more, like, it's just tighter communities.
More interactions.
And everyone is just used to being just open to talk, to have a conversation. So like no one's, I was talking about with some people on the cruise. They were telling me like, what's the difference from like the West and like, because I was told them I was from Haiti and shit. I was like, here everyone just head down. You just wake up, you go to work, head down from point A to point B. You get into your car, you go to the bus. Like it's just your head down, probably on your phone, listening to music in your own bubble. You're in your own bubble throughout your entire day, and you're just looping.
Yeah.
To them, it's like, how am I gonna make a living today? How am I gonna eat today? Okay, that probably requires that I speak to other people and sell shit to other people with the shit that I make from the crafts that I learned. So it's like I need to figure out how to talk to people so that people can buy my product. So in terms of that, they end up being more extroverted because they need to be. We just end up being more introverted because it's like everything's automated for us. So we don't need to think about how we're gonna eat. That was crazy to watch. Like I've known about it. I've known about it because like I lived in Haiti, so sales, like whenever you're on the road, like people will approach you no matter what, because that's how they sell. But seeing it and then being mindful about what was going on, crazy.
Yeah, I did when I went to Nepal, I really like that was happening all the time, but I never really realized.
Yeah.
It was kind of just obnoxious to me.
Yeah, right. It seems obnoxious, but what you realize is that's how they make a living. Yeah. Some people don't know how to do it.
It's funny too because I was there with my friend from Canada. Like he's my friend from here. I met him here, and we just happened to be in Nepal at the same time. So we were just shopping, and he was looking to buy tea, and then he went to a tea vendor, right? And he's like, yeah, blah blah blah. It's like 200. He's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna come back later and decide. And just as we're about to walk, he's like, okay, 100. Like half the price instantly, just because like you're more swaying to the no side.
Negotiations is a very, very like interesting thing too. My mom is really good at it, so like watching them do it is crazy. Like it's like you can't be afraid of the no or with the person's reaction. So they'll be like 50. You're like, can you do 25? Split it in half.
And the thing is, like here, like you go to Walmart or like Nordstrom, whatever.
You can't do anything.
It's fixed. You can't do shit.
You can't do anything. But there's still places where people are willing to negotiate. You're just so used to things being so fixed. You don't even think about asking for a different price. So you just end up getting finessed. That's whatever. Yeah. That's one thing I realized, that's the most like explicit I've seen it. You're either finessing or getting finessed. At all times. There's no middle.
That's true.
There's no you're in kind of not. No, you're either finessing or you're getting finessed. Like it's binary.
You have the illusion of one or the other. Oh, it's a jacket's 50% off.
Yeah, like it's man. And then from that, I started thinking more about like how to apply that. And then it's interesting. It's interesting how that shit works.
Yeah.
But that was just like the first day.
It needs to be like studied more. Like I definitely need to work on that.
Oh, sales is an art. It's an art form. Like it's something you learn. It's not something that you're either good at or you're not. Some people, it's like everything else. Some people are talented and pick it up easily. If you're an introverted person, it might be hard.
And me working at my new job, like I see my boss do this every single day. It's like breathing for him, bro. Like he does it so organically and naturally. Like where if I were to do it, I'd be like, it'd be too jerky. And it'd be like they would see it. Yeah.
That's the thing. I think believing in your product is a big part. If you're passionate about what you're making and you're enthusiastic about it, the art form, and also you believe and you're confident in the fact that it's a good product, being able to sell it will be. Oh, what was it?
It's like to an extent it kind of sells itself because if you're convinced about like whatever it's doing, the product for the consumer, then just tell them.
Yeah. Belfort dude said something that basically is what sales is transfer of certainty. Like when you approach a person about a product, whether it's a course or a shirt or whatever, they're not certain about it.
Right.
But if you are, Your job is to translate your certainty so that they can understand it and become certain also about the quality of your product. But you need to first believe that it's a good product in order to be able to sell it. Unless you just know how to manipulate people, then you can just do it.
It's kind of, it's almost the same, like to an extent. Yeah, you're kind of projecting. Do you know Zig Ziglar?
I know the name. Yeah.
But he says that people don't make new decisions. Okay, I got it this time. People don't change their minds. They make new decisions based on new information that they've been given.
Basically. Yeah. So, that's what that is. But that was just the first stop, which was Nassau, Bahamas, which was like the second first day. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Food was a very interesting thing too, because it was a buffet.
At the cruise ship?
Yeah. It was just a buffet. You can either eat a buffet. It's complimentary. You pay for it in the ticket. So it's like free food, quote unquote.
Is it 24 hours or a certain time period?
It ends at like 10 or 11.
Okay.
And there's different buffets. Like there's breakfast, and then there's lunch, and then there's dinner.
Was it good?
And then there's like...
Because a lot of buffets are like...
It was pretty good.
Okay.
It was actually very good. But the thing is, the fact that it's a buffet, you always feel like you have to eat more than you need to. So there's like 3 days straight where I would just go to sleep with my fucking belly just bloated. And I'm like, bro, why did I eat so much? So I'd get mad. I'm like, bro, like I'm just literally just eating because food's here. So then I started cutting back for like the last few. So it was just like it's funny. Just because the food's there, you just want to.
It's not even like the necessity. It's because it's just in front of you.
That made me want to take like I almost fasted, but then my mom forced me to eat on the way back.
We're paying for this already.
It was just the day we were leaving. It was like a 20-hour drive, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just fast like during the whole ride, and then we went to a buffet. We stopped at a buffet. I'm like, damn, nigga, we spent fucking 7 days in a fucking boat with a fucking buffet, and you're gonna stop at a buffet while we're fucking riding back, like, nigga, goddamn. It was pretty good. It was decent. I was like at that point, I was like, food. It's just food. I was like, God damn it. It wasn't that special.
Remember when I told you food is actually overrated? No,
it's overrated.
We overrate it. It's not overrated. Like, you need it to survive, but
you can enjoy it too.
You can enjoy it. Like, bro, indulge. Please indulge if you have the opportunity.
But to just do it like automatically just cause it's there. That's the problem.
And like the fact that it was like Christmas and holidays, everything, like
food.
You just feast, bro. Like and especially at like Nepali gatherings. Bro, you get there, you eat like the snack, which is like a fucking full course. Like, there's like more than 10 dishes, and then you eat dinner. You wait, like, bro, no one's hungry anymore, except like 2 people who are like just eating everything.
But it's festivities.
We gotta do it. You know, it's
cool.
It is.
Like, if it's a family thing, like that's what we did when we went to New York. It was just like family, just New Year's. We invited all of the like dad's family over,
and it's a good reason just to get together.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Speaking on that, I've been like watching a lot of Ido Portal videos. You know Ido Portal? I sent him a video. Like, he did the moving hands thing. So he's all about basically movement as a philosophy, and I'm gonna butcher his theory because like you really have to listen to him speak himself because
he understands it.
He's living it. Like me, if I try to sell his philosophy to you, like, he's gonna be like,
paraphrasing.
I'm paraphrasing. He's gonna be like, no, like, just don't speak. But basically, it's like, first of all, where he says the number one reason for people to get together is movement. Right? It's survived, you're living in tribes, you're hunting, blah, blah, blah. And like, first of all, we're humans, and then we're movers. And then we specialize in whatever sport, like you're a blacksmith, whatever. And then you specialize in your sport, whatever. So the underlying thing is, how well can you move? Right? It's not, can you go to the gym and it's not fitness per se, where it's like you're lifting weights. Oh, this is my PR, personal record. You're literally just trying to move the best you can. And using that kind of philosophy, it's so much, like, working out is so much more fun now because you don't have like, oh, I gotta do that.
It becomes a game.
It becomes a game. Yeah. You're not even playing anymore. There's no play factor.
Yeah.
It's just business.
That's interesting. Huh.
And he also says
Tai Chi,
Yeah. And like, really to be able to really be the best at your sport, you have to play. Like you see Ronaldo, you
Yeah.
probably don't know Firmino, or like you see Suarez, like you probably don't know him either. But they're literally just having fun on the field. They're not just like looking to score a goal. Obviously, that's the objective, but on the way there, they're just like having fun.
There's spiritual fulfillment from the act of it itself, from doing it itself. Like you can tell their piece is on the field. Winning is cool. Like it's fine if I win, sick, like good. But doing it is what's cool. Like doing it is the real thing. Figuring out how to do it better. Figuring out how to beat this team.
Figuring it out.
Who beat me last time.
And he also has this other thing where it's like, so there's 3 levels. Okay, well, so there's isolation, integration, and then improvisation. So you can't improvise without first having integrated, and you can't integrate without first having isolated whatever it is. So he goes back to like, there's 3 steps: level 1, level 2, level 3. Level 1 is like you suck at whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
At that point, you have the most benefit in whatever you're doing because like you've never done it before. So
sponge.
If you're a sponge, you're making so many like neural pathways that you've never even created before. Yeah. And then level 2, you're kind of getting good at it, but you're not mastering it. But then level 3, you've mastered it. There's nothing more for you to learn there. So go back to something that you can learn, level 1. And what he does is he's literally, he says like specialization has a cost to it, which is true. Because if you look at just like, I don't know, say like you're working and all you do is work.
Yeah.
You have nothing else to do in your life. But if you balance it out, then you're just living a more healthy lifestyle. And in the aspect of like the movement world, he says generalization it's good. It's not better because obviously like I'm not gonna be better at you than soccer if all I do is generalize. But it has less like cost. And you can really like you can be all around because he's taking like he's Conor McGregor's movement coach. So he's taking things from other sports. Like he'll take like a tennis ball and like just close your eyes, open it, like catch it. He's doing like weird ass shit. Like you're dancing, like moving your spine. It's not just like hit the bags. And that's why like you see the way Conor moves, and even UFC fighters,
it's out the box.
They're like, what the fuck is he doing? They can't predict his movement.
Because it's not conventional.
Yeah,
it's not what you predict. It's
and
not.
You can really apply that to like everything.
Yeah.
Like,
that's when people have the most, like the strongest reactions. When like let's say it's in a song, like when you think this note is about to get played or this last chord in the chord progression because that's how you're used to hearing it, but then that's not what they do, or they do it but they just
they have their own spin
flip
on
it in such a weird way that it doesn't even sound like it. It's like whoa, like
that's jazz.
It snaps you out. Yeah, that's jazz. Jazz is like it's four. It'll be like 4 chords and then they improvise, but then sometimes it's just inverse the chord. They'll just invert it, or they'll just do some crazy shit, or the chord's been going for like 12 bars and then they just change one of the chords in the progression, or it's like it's a game. It's a game. That's what you're doing. They're playing with you, and the better you are at it, the more you know how to do it the best. But
and also like everything,
very interesting.
Everything is a practice, right? Like, and he says this too. Like, fuck, like he's actually my hero now. But like he there's this interview and he's saying like, okay, my cousin came over and he told me. Look at the ceiling. Okay. Mind, and he's telling the listeners, mind you, I'm a new practitioner to this. Just looking at the ceiling. Like, of course you are. Like, you're practicing looking at the ceiling. Right now, we're practicing doing a podcast.
Yeah.
You're practicing walking. Everything is a practice. So if you look at it in that perspective, you have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Because you're not aiming to win. You're just aiming to improve.
Yeah, it's a practice.
It's practice. I'm practicing.
You should practice.
Practice. Yeah. Have you been like, did you like exercise at all over your break?
I went to the gym once because there was a gym on there.
My bad.
What? Is it a call?
Text my dad.
I'm
dying.
I went to the, yeah, because if you don't answer the phone, you're dying. I'll stay in silence.
Sorry.
You
went to the gym once, you said?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It felt great.
On the ship?
Yeah, it feels great after. I just didn't go after because I was like, yeah.
I'm young.
But no, that's definitely a habit I'm gonna build this year. I'm currently working on guitar. I'm like halfway there. I didn't do it the entire trip, but that's what I'll figure it out.
Did you get guitar with you?
No, I didn't. Why would I do that? I could.
Yeah.
But what I did do a lot was just read on the days or like on the times where we would be on the cruise, because there'd be times where it's like, I mean, there's always something going on.
Yeah.
There's an animation team that'd always be doing shit where you
something
dance,
to entertain.
There's like live like fitness stuff where there's like live. I think the yoga classes were paid, which pissed me off. There was like there was shit to do, but
yeah.
I'm not like, my parents just sat there.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I so see it in me. Like, that's what I just want to sit there and just like, I could participate and have fun, but I'm just going to stay here and have fun. So I just like
resistance.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. I just sit there and then that's one. Oh, bro. All right, let's go. All right. So the reason why the girl I met was such a big deal is because the mental game, the mental gymnastics that happened in the process of me seeing her for the first time and going, oh shit, to going, I want to speak, to actually doing it was the wildest thing in my mind. It was like a fucking war, bro. It was crazy. So I don't know when I saw her for the first time, but it was her and her sister. Sister's 17. So like but she caught me because I'm like, oh my God, like
what do you mean she caught you?
Caught attention. Like I was like,
okay,
oh my God, like damn, like those ones. It's like damn, oh bro. So I'm there and then I see her and I'm like, okay. Then it just becomes like you just like you keep seeing her. Like I just kept seeing her, and it's not that. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's because my mind subconsciously I started registering her so much that seeing her became more often from the first point I saw her. From the first point I saw her, all I kept seeing was just her all around. It's a fucking 9-story, 10, 11-story boat, and I just keep
11 stories.
Yeah, wow. But the ninth story is where like the main point is. It'd be like the equivalent of UC here. So like that's where a lot of people, or like fourth floor library, where a lot of people end up hanging out because it's like there's a pool and like jacuzzi and a lot of people. Yeah, so. She spent a lot of time there because she'd go to the jacuzzi and the pool a lot. So then I'd just be here. It's like, show you some fucking bikini all day. And I'm like, oh my God, like you look so fucking good. So then I'm like, okay, like I'm stuck here for 7 days. Like it's just a bunch of strangers here. We're on vacation. We're all trying to just like have a good time. So like, what's the worst that could happen to just speak to her? And then the thing is, it's like, fuck, bro. Like the amount of, it's like it's willpower, fear and anxiety. And you know what anxiety is? It's like it's like a fear of certain outcomes, right? It's like, and it's like I'm neurotic. I don't even want to say that anymore because of this book, because that's aligning yourself with something, right? There's a lot of neuroticism in me. Yeah. So it's like, I get worried about shit. So it's like, I start thinking negative outcomes, because when you're approaching someone, you're making yourself vulnerable, right? Because there's a chance of them saying no. Here's the thing: they could either say yes, it could either go good or bad, and within those two, there's a million ways that it could go good or bad. So it's like it's just in reality, just two ways. Yeah. But within those two ways, there's so many different ways that it could go, and then that's when it starts to. And of course, I'm leaning more to the no. So then when you lean to the no, you try to justify.
Right, you're projecting.
So the first day, it's like just staring. Like it's just like you're just staring. She catches your eyes in there, and you think you could like communicate some shit through just the eye contact. Like, but you're not sure of yourself. And the way eye contact works is like how you feel is what they receive. So if you're not confident when someone's like falls into your eyes, they're not gonna get that. And if they're not thinking of you that way either, like maybe she never noticed me until, even though we ended up like making eye contact, she never noticed me until I spoke to her. So basically, I go upstairs and find a foosball table. I'm like, oh shit, it's been here this whole time and I didn't know. Look, like 3-4 days in. And then I'm like, okay, Dad, let's go play upstairs. So we go play, find a ball in there. Because the ball, I think you had to pay to like either you had to pay or you had to speak to one of the people working there for him to like give you a token so you could get a ball. So then play with my dad, beat him. I was like, hey. And then I kept the ball because I didn't want to go through the hassle. So I kept it in my pocket. And then I'm downstairs, right? The 9th floor is like kind of the same floor. There's like a balcony area, which counts as the 10th floor, but it's like open. So you could go up, you could be on the 10th floor looking down on the 9th. They'd end up going upstairs a lot. I find out through speaking to them for the first time, which was me going upstairs, and then I was bored. I was like, oh, I want to play someone in foosball. Like, I just want to find someone to play. And I'm not very extroverted. So I can't approach people that easily. So I get scared and shit. I'm like, fuck, okay. So then I'm going upstairs. I'm walking. They happen to have gone upstairs to on the other side. So there's 2 stairs. There's like one there and then one there. They roll up, and then you go up, and then you can walk down to the other side. So I'm here, they're there. And I'm walking. I'm walking, and I'm like, fuck it. Like, just do it. I'm like, just do it. And then...
It's too perfect now.
Like, yeah, it's just like, we're going to end up running to each other. So it's her and her sister walking. And then I'm like, the fear that builds up, it's literally a climax.
Right. Your stomach just becomes like...
Up until the point where you do it. It's like every inch of your body. If you're not comfortable in that situation, of course, there's people who don't even like think about it. Just like, you look great. Let's like, what are you? Who are you? Like, what's your name? And I found out it actually depends on your environment. Because I was at work today and I can speak to anyone. Any stranger. Like, I'd see someone, they look great. I'd be like, you look so good, by the way. Like, I love your eyes. I love your hair. I love your nails.
What is that? It's so weird.
It's because it's an environment that I'm comfortable with.
And like, you kind of have a certain identity in that environment.
Yeah, it's like, it's old to me. I'm comfortable there. Like, I'm confident there because I'm good at it because I've been doing it for so long. So being in an environment where you're confident, you're more likely to, like, you're in your element, right? Like, when I'm making music, same thing.
Yeah,
like,
competence builds confidence. Yeah.
So I'm on a fucking boat in the middle of nowhere with a bunch of people I don't fucking know except my parents. So it's like, it's kind of, you know, like, it's new. So you're like, And if you're not extroverted, you're like more, so you're more closed off. So then the fear builds up, and then I forget all about the fear as soon I walk. Basically, they're on that side. I'm here at this point, and I walk there, pull out the ball, and I'm just like, That's what. And they're like, yeah. And they're like, oh yeah, like blah blah. I'm like, holy shit, they're not bitches. So we walk and we go play.
That's crazy too. Like, you don't even need words.
Because there's people, bro. The animators literally have to speak 6 languages. So when they're talking, it's just like, hey everyone, bonjour tout le monde, blah blah blah, and then just run through everything 6 times. Because there's people from,
oh my god,
there's English, French, Italian, Spanish, Deutsch, and German.
Deutsch. Wow.
Yeah, I think that was the 6 languages. So it's like, and every, like, there's like theater, like, shows, and like every time it's just 6.
I'd get so sick. I'd just not go.
It's so funny. So then I'm like, I don't know what they speak. So let me just use gestures instead. So I just do gestures, and then they're like, yes, and I hear an accent. I'm like, oh, you don't speak English? They're like, no, we're Italian. I'm like, oh my God, they're foreign. Yeah. I'm like, oh, they're foreign. So I'm like, yeah,
Blood rush.
We play. They happen to be very good. Italians apparently play foosball a lot, and they take it very seriously. So I end up getting my ass whooped, which is when I meet Preston. Preston happened to be walking, and Preston saw us playing, and Preston, after like meeting him and knowing him and talking, we spoke for 2 hours the last
That's
day.
the guy you posted on your archives.
Yeah.
Ceiling.
39 years old.
Okay.
Fuck, how long has this been going? Oh, it's only been 30 minutes. Yeah, Preston's like, you need a goalie, because I was getting my ass whooped. I thought it was going to be just light work, but then they're very good. Okay. So then I'm getting my ass whooped, and like Preston comes in and he's like, you need a goalie. So then we play and we get our asses whooped. Like, Preston and I get our asses fucking whooped. So we played for like 4 games, and it's like, oh shit, like, this is cool. Like, this is not as scary as I thought it was. So I'm like, oh my God, cool. Yeah, it's way crazier to me, the shit, because there's feeling involved in the whole process of me trying to like speak to them, and the fact that there was a moment where I wasn't even having fun during the trip anymore because I really wanted to, but I kept not doing it because I was afraid. Yeah. So there's like, bro, like,
it's like resentment.
Yeah, it's
yourself.
Like it could, like it's like, you know, it could go well as much as it could not go well, but you're like like taking that away from yourself by just staying in what you're comfortable with.
Mm.
So then it's like a layer of your ego doesn't want to get hurt, but you're like, it's not that serious.
But you're just like
your
fighting.
ego's so strong that it can convince you that you shouldn't do it.
And you can't, at that point, you can't tell which one's your ego or not.
Yeah. Like you're afraid, you're so afraid of the rejection, which hurts your ego. So it lessens you. This book helped a lot. Meeting Preston was weird because it's like he just happened to be walking there and like he is exactly into those things. So last day we spoke about for like 3 hours, just talking about how he mastered the dark arts and how
Black magic?
Basically,
or just magic?
He had this three finger curse that he'd do at people, and then they'd just get into shit after. He'd be like, I wish upon you the most the worst doom that you could get, and the person would either get in an accident 2 days later. He told me it was a 3-day delivery every time, under 3 days, 3 days or less. So once a person died after he did it, a person got into a car crash.
Does he still do it?
No, because after he met someone, equivalent of a guru, who taught him the light arts,
right?
Who brought him to the light side, the bright side. So like he started using, basically. And just hearing about that and like his life story. And it's funny because like when I met him, like I know, like I could feel from him that he's one of those guys who people will not like because he's an adult who acts like a child, he didn't lose his childlike energy, and it's like his, you know, the childlike energy we all have, that we lose. So he was just open. He's like, you need a goalie, and he would play. We start praying on the ball, like doing weird tricks, just having fun. And when he told me he was 39, I'm like, fuck, jeez, that's so sick. Because the dude's just like, he's that old, but he doesn't take himself that seriously. Like you can still tell there's so much life in him.
He's gonna live a long time.
Oh, dude, 100%.
Like
I hope he's watching. I'm gonna send him this episode actually, because I told him I'd do the podcast. Like we spoke for like 3 or so hours the last day.
Damn.
Yeah. It was, man, it's like, and it's so funny because I met him through having enough courage.
Right.
That was direct good karma.
Maybe the whole reason you wanted to talk to the girl
was because I was supposed to meet him.
Who knows?
Intuition. Another thing. Okay, let's talk about this book now. You told me you read this?
I read it 2-3 years ago, so it's not really
as much. Yeah. I think this book is like, and he talks about it, is like a lot of people will read this and they won't really get it.
For audio viewers, it's A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle.
So he worked with Ram Dass, which is who this cover is. Visual viewers, this is the cover of Be Here Now. Very good book if you're into spirituality and meditation and all that shit. Ram Dass actually died, I think I don't know when, but it was the last week of December. Yeah. Rest in peace, Ram Dass. I think he was like 88.
Yeah, he was like on a wheelchair, like couldn't speak. Like he couldn't speak like normally. He would speak in like, I am this person.
That's how he speaks though.
Yeah, but like it was like exaggerated because
okay. So he was tired. He was tired.
Yeah, like he's growing old.
Moment of silence. Shout out Ram Dass. Oh my God. Ram Dass. So, oh man, I barely know anything about him. But he's been so crazy. He's been so crazy to me.
I hear of him all the time in like podcasts.
Yeah,
and stuff, so.
It's one of the books Steve read. It's actually, I think, was it? I think it's how I got introduced to the book when I read Becoming Steve Jobs last year.
But you were saying this book.
First, I finished the Steve Jobs book, which was very good. Very good. He was a walking contradiction in the sense that he was very into spirituality and Zen, but he wasn't a Zen person.
Right.
Like he didn't have that stillness. Like he didn't have that inner peace. Like he was always impatient. Like he needed shit to happen now, which is not what Zen is. But he practiced it a lot. So
imagine if he didn't have it.
It's that balance. Yeah, or maybe he wouldn't have been as impactful. Maybe that's the combination he needed.
Yeah,
but to read about it for a second time in a different way, because I read his biography like last year too, around the same time, and yeah, I mean he ended up being the most. He's probably one of the most important people in terms of he revolutionized
everybody owns an iPhone,
how many industries,
iCloud,
like music changed, computing changed, books changed. And all that's all just, and that's just because the dude just knew he could.
Not just that, like people, it's opened so much doors for like app developers. Like, fuck.
Yeah, and that's just from one dude just like believing he can, and then just stopping at nothing to make it happen. That was very cool. But this one was cool because it's the shit. Nothing's new under the sun. Like we know everything we're supposed to know, and we just have moments where we remember. Which is kind of what this is about. That's why the remember is here every time. Because the entire book is just like, oh yeah. Like everything you discover is kind of like a, oh. Yeah. And Ram Dass talks about it. He's like, when you come across new knowledge, the reason why you like.
Seems familiar.
No, the reason why it catches you is because you already knew it. You're just being reminded of something you already knew. And it's just being told in a way.
Amnesia from being born again.
Yeah, basically. Oh man, this like I think half the book is just talking to you about the ego, and how the ego is just you should see it as like this entity, this independent entity that just lives within you, that you just have to. Basically, kind of, I see it as something you just got to build a relationship with. We watched Naruto, right? I think Naruto has something to do with that, with the shadow and like ego, because Kurama, which is like the QB that's in him, the tail beast, nine tails, right? That's like could be your ego or your shadow.
Yeah.
And his entire life, he was hated because of that, which is his power. And like, which is
his relationship to his ego, which was
how powerful the ego actually can be, and how much potential you have, the bigger it is, if you can master it. And he was looked down upon for how special he was, kind of. And then he didn't like himself.
The Nine Tails was.
Yeah, he didn't like himself because of how just it's a monster. Like it's you, but it's a monster, right?
Fuck.
Didn't like himself. Hated himself, and his relationship with that was so bad because it was like he didn't have control over it because he kept seeing it as something of an enemy, not something to explore. It was something to keep sealed. It was a seal because his dad was like, all right, this is too strong. Let's seal it. Let's suppress it. And then when he'd lose control of himself, he'd go into unconsciousness, which is what he talks about. Unconsciousness is where most of us are.
95%.
Yeah, we're not aware. We feel something. We fall into it. I'm sad. I need to do something about this. I'm mad. I need to do something about this. I'm happy. I need to do something about this. Like you need to do something. You align with everything you think.
Instead of just watching, do I really need to do this?
Yeah, thoughts just happen. But we just align with them. And they could just be happening until you pick him, right? Yeah. So what kind of shit does he go through? There's moments where he loses control and it gradually gets worse until pain, where he almost fully transforms and loses full control to it, where he would basically turn into the monster and lose his soul to it. And that's it for him, right? Until his dad saved him, who just implanted his spirit into him, right? So the madder he got, the more tails he'd get.
Fuck, that was a great anime.
Oh, so
Holy
good.
Shit.
So good.
I haven't watched it in a while.
So good. Until he goes through the process where he has to fight it. And he goes within himself in that weird little realm thing where it's like water and it's like it doesn't really lead to anywhere. And he opens the fucking gate and then fights it. Then he puts it under control, but the relationship is still not good because the ego itself starts to be resentful towards him. The tail beast becomes like resentful. He put him under a leash, but it's like, I still don't fuck with you. So there's still tension. Until they become friends. When they become friends is when he becomes the most overpowered, ridiculously powerful character of all time. Like, he doesn't die. Yeah. Like, he just saves a nigga by touching him. Like, when Guy died, he just pulled up, touched him.
I don't remember that, but... Yeah.
So it's like...
Oh, right, just the life force.
Yeah. As soon as he... Like, when he put it under a leash, he was strong. But when they built a relationship... And it was like, now it's like we're not enemies. We don't see each other as shit to be afraid of and to be resentful towards.
But they're actually complimenting each other.
He became the most fucking powerful character in the entire show. So that's kind of how I saw it.
That's a myth for fucking real life, bro.
Oh, bro. Like 100%. So that's kind of what this talks about. I should have read over it on my way here. Because like he breaks it down very well, how the ego works. And how we're kind of like, he calls it the pain body, which is like this entity that really like basically wants you to suffer. Like it's like,
and it's all based on sensation, right?
Yeah, we've kind of fetishized like sadness and pain.
One more rep
to a point where like we'll be sad and we kind of, no one wants to stay sad. So why do people stay sad so long? It's because they just align with it. So
and also,
deep
bro,
down,
there's like
a,
I feel like there's a dopamine hit that comes from being like, oh, I'm suffering. No one else is like me. Poor me.
Ego. Why me? Oh, why?
Fuck, I don't want to be happy. Like, why don't pull me out of this.
Why is this happening to me? Oh man, everyone's so mean to me. Someone noticed me. Blah 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 blah. So it's all just, you're just trying to strengthen this story in your head. And it's funny because you're reading and you're like, okay, so when you're gonna tell me the secret? And what you don't realize, the secret is ego dies as soon as you become aware of the ego. That's when a lot of people that's when you start to lose a lot of people. To us, it makes sense because we've been practicing mindfulness and awareness and meditation so long. We understand it. But people will be like, okay, but I still feel like shit. Yeah, I'm aware that I feel like shit, but I still feel like shit. Like I want it to go away. But the thing is, you're fighting it makes it stronger. And that's one thing that happened that got shown to me through the girl. Because after I spoke to her for the first time, I realized like ego, like that was a big battle. And I was so proud of myself when I did it because it's like, fuck, like I mustered up the courage to put myself in a vulnerable situation, which I would never do. So I was like, okay, sick. I'm proud of you. But then the day after, it's like, oh, I want to do it again. Ego's like, okay, let's look more, more, right? So that starts to happen. I'm like, I start to get super in my head about possible outcomes. It's like, oh man, like what if something happens? What if blah, blah, blah. And then I meet her brother, and then her brother invited me to like this party that we're doing at a suite because like everyone was bored. All of like teenagers was bored because it's more like a thing that old people would enjoy. But I'm like, I'm kind of old, so I enjoyed I walked so much, bro, and I was fucking barefoot the entire time. Bro, I was like, bro, I felt it was so sick. I just walked a lot. Like
that's crazy. Like you're so excited about that. Like,
oh, bro,
most people barefoot. Fuck, that's nasty, bro.
The sunsets, bro, over endless water, and you just see the sun going down.
Did you ever get sick of it? Well, in your 2 weeks,
the view, no. Being inside, it got boring, but that's the thing. Boredom is good. Boredom is so good. Like, cause you sit there, and then. That's one thing that happened. I couldn't distract myself from the feelings I was feeling, from the resentment towards myself for not speaking to Shorty just from being afraid and knowing that I'm afraid. Awareness is a weird game because when you're aware, if you're aware of something and you don't act on it, it's worse than if you're not aware and you don't act on it. So I'm aware of the fact that it's an ego game, but I'm not doing anything. So I'm like, fuck, like I'm fucking defeating myself right now. So I'm just sitting there and I can't distract myself from it. Usually you could just like, I don't know, watch a movie, beat your meat, something, and you forget about it, right? Dopamine, you're like, distract. But I'm on a boat, there's nothing to do, there's no Wi-Fi. So I'm just sitting there. It's like, fuck. So then I spoke to her like maybe 2 or 3 times. Like it was sick. Like it was cool. Like she basically just became like an acquaintance. Like in all 3 of them, there were 3 siblings. It was like, I think Danila was the first one's name. The second one was Sara. I don't want to say it Sarah because there's no H and she pronounced it Sara. So I was like, Sara. I was like, oh, okay, that's very hot. And then the brother was Adriano. So like I met them like the night they invited me to the party. I forgot the room number. I got super sad, FOMO. I was like, oh, so that's what FOMO's like. So then I was in the room with my parents watching movies, and I was like, oh God, like, oh, you should go, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, but it doesn't matter. Because either like you go or you don't go, it doesn't matter. Like it's just,
everything's
like,
in vain.
It's the same quote, like kill yourself or have a cup of coffee. Equivalent in terms of like, it's the same
significance.
Shit. It's the same shit, right? So it was like, it doesn't matter. But there's like, oh, but what could happen if you go? So then I'm coming to terms with it. I'm like, I'm just going to go walk. I journaled a lot, which helps. Journaling helps.
It does.
With letting go of shit, because you just put it down and you can look at it. Like you're looking at your ego. So I walked, And I just went to the third and second floor, which is where a lot of the parties happen, like open parties, like, you know, old people parties where it's like, oh, come dance, blah, blah. And then guess who I run into? Them. The party didn't happen. Oh. They just ended up downstairs at the bar. And then they were just drinking. I'm like, oh, shit, it's you guys. And they're like, yeah. And everyone's dressed up, and I'm here with like shorts and a cardigan and a shirt and bare feet, just vibing. And we ended up hanging out for a bit. Ran into Preston too, and then that was cool. Then yeah, I can't explain it as like it was so wild to actually see how crazy your mind can get when you're in situations like this, and how easy it is to fall into the traps. Your brain builds up the fucking most convincing arguments just to satisfy itself.
Yeah, that's.
And then I think when I finish this, I'm gonna summarize it better. But essentially, it's like your ego is not you. Mm-hmm. There's a layer beyond that, which is the layer that sees that the thoughts happen, and awareness of the ego is how you kill the ego.
And also, it
doesn't die.
There's this theory that like mind is a field, and we're just accessing it. Like everyone has access to it. Like me and you have the same mind. Yeah. We're just hive mind. We have separate brains that are accessing it.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily you. It's just a collection of thoughts, things, events that have happened.
Yeah. Man, I wish I could explain these things. It was wicked. It was so wild.
How long's it been?
I don't know.
Pretty average.
Oh, man.
2020, bro. Fuck. New decade.
Yeah. That was cool too.
What'd you do New Year's?
It was family function. Yeah, that's why we went to New York. It was just family function.
Did you
it was cool.
Tour around New York or just family?
It was family. I went to see Uncut Gems, which is such a good movie. Oh man, that movie was so good. I still think about it today. Oh man, it's so good. Being back was cool though. Mm-hmm. When I left, oh my god, the dad was leaving. I was so sad, and it was kind of because of Shorty. Bro, I'm such a loser. Bro, that's one thing I realized, bro. Like, bro, self-esteem is crazy. Self-esteem is wild. Like, there's people who don't think about this shit that much. Like, they just like, oh, she's nice. Let me just say hi. To me, it was like, fuck. It was like, holy shit, how am I going to do this? Like, I need to figure, God, like, oh, man. It was a whole day I spent just feeling like shit. Just because she was around and I didn't speak because I just couldn't bring up the courage. That was like not even the first time I spoke to her. That was like the second time. And then I journaled about it. I could show it to you. I could have you read it after. I wrote about it quite a bit. I was like, because it was like the feeling was so there. You know that feeling when your chest is heavy? It's not really anxiety. It's more like you feel like shit. And it's just like, it's just.
I've probably been there.
Yeah, you're just like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, God. You know? And it was, I knew, like, and I was reading the book while doing this too. Every time I read the book, it went away. It went away because it was like, oh, yeah, that's why. Yeah. But then when you leave, it's like, okay, now you have to sit with yourself and practice what the fuck you just read. So it's like, it doesn't go away. Yeah. You just, if you can't do that's the game. If you can't do anything about it, you just sit there and acknowledge and accept it and wait until it leaves. That's where people can't deal with. And that's what I realized. It was so hard to just face that. It was so hard to just sit there knowing it would go away. I did a few meditations that were very good. Cause it's like you're on the water, so like the boat's moving, so it's like super cool. And then oh man, it was so sick. It was so cool to be in like 20 plus weathers for a bit too. Yeah, I think it was a very huge spiritual experience. It was just because a nigga just didn't have the balls to speak to a shorty, and it taught me so much about myself in the process. Oh man, that was cool. But that's like everything.
Everything.
That's like every moment.
Psychedelics
like that
just
moment,
boil it down to a few hours.
Yeah, that's psychedelics. It's just life, the trailer. That's all it is. Like it's just all of life summed up for 3 to 6 to 12 hours. Like you just whoosh. this is you. This is what happens. This is all of life. You already know all the answers. Blah blah blah. This is truth. All right, go back. All right, go back. This is the Matrix. This is the Matrix. All right, go. That's it. This is the game. Everything is a game. Money. Big lesson. Never feel bad for wanting to get money. For wanting to make money. Don't feel bad. It's a game you made for yourself. It's a game we made for ourselves. And
you can't survive without it now.
Yeah, it's a solution that created new problems. Greed. It didn't really even create greed. It just exposed greed to the most. That just like social media didn't create depression and anxiety. It just exposed the people who were prone to it, who just lived their lives. It just amplified it. It exposed us. That's what Gary. That's the Gary quote. It doesn't change you. It exposes you. It just exposes how people are. And this is nothing new. Like we've said all these things before.
Yeah.
But
Nothing
it's like
is
I
new.
experienced it. Like, and bro, we're literally just spirits just experiencing this game of life. Like it's a game, and there's mini games within the games, and within those mini games, there's other mini games. So now that's how I'm seeing money. It's like, you want to make more? There's like shit.
And when people say like, like your body is your vehicle, bro, like you're trapped in here.
Yeah.
For your entire fucking life.
Take care of it. It's a tool. It's the first tool you were born with.
It bends. It fucking jumps.
When
expands, contracts.
When I was tripping the Sunday before I went, I needed to go pee, and that was my first time by myself. Tim left 6 hours into it. Shout out stop watching while trip. It's the fucking trippiest thing to time it. To time your trips. Like you did stopwatch app. You just like start counting it. Because every time you check the time, you're like, what?
It's been this long.
What? So then when Tim's leaving, it's just been 5 hours. We're both like peaking.
Right.
And then I'm like, damn, nigga, it's my first time I'm gonna be by myself. So I walk home and it's like the game starts like, oh shit, okay. So then I'm in my room and then I get in, I go to pee.
Is it just me or is peeing on psychedelics super weird?
Well, I go to pee and I end up being in the toilet for an hour.
Oh wow. Okay, wow.
What did I do? I finished peeing, walk in front of, there's like a full body mirror on your way out. I taught myself eye contact during that hour.
Okay.
I stood there, I stared myself off. I'm like,
How
okay,
long?
so this communicates like aggression. This is laid back. You're inviting the person in. If you look into someone and you like pull your neck in and you pull yourself in, it could be very aggressive because you're like depending on what your eyebrows are doing and how strong the eye contact is. But if you put your hand in front of your mouth, it adds a layer of mystery. So then you can kind of play with people in terms of that. If they want to know what you're thinking, you can kind of give them that sense of threat, but they don't really know if they should be afraid. So then they're more likely to submit because there's just I realize how much of a game it is, and it's just eyes. And there's so many ways you can look into someone's body, and the rest of your body affects how that
physiologically,
how what you're communicating. So I just sat there. I did that for a bit, and I kept like imagining myself being in a position where I'm leading or like directing something, and then people would talk to me about shit. And I'm like, I started like basically just playing mock conversations and seeing how eye contact would affect it. And, everything makes sense. So it's like you don't need anyone to explain these things to you. You understand everything. So I'm like, okay, so that's what this is. So I figured that out, and it's great because that was a big problem. Like as soon as I look into someone's eyes, if I'm not familiar with them and they look back, it's like, oh. But now it's not. It's chess. It's all chess. So you can communicate a lot about yourself just from your first contact with someone else's eyes, because that's soul, bro. Like the soul is there, and you look into eyes, like you see the universe that is in it, the layers.
Apparently, there's actually a part of our brain that's in our eye that evolved like into our eye.
That makes sense. That makes full of sense. So then I paced a lot in the bathroom, bro. I'm just pacing, and then I'm like, okay, like I'm just figuring shit out. Like I'm just like, oh man, like oh fuck, crazy. And then at one point, I just get naked. And I just sat there. First, I sent a picture to Tim because I was like, "Fuck it, like fuck it, bro. It's not gay. Nigga, I'm just naked. Like, it doesn't mean anything sexual. It's just your body." So I just sent him a full just naked photo. It's so funny. And I just sat there and just looked at myself fully naked for like a few minutes. And I'm like, "Whoa, this is actually like a tool." So I just start moving. I'm like, "Whoa, this is my tool." I'm like, this is a tool that allows me to use the other tools that will allow me to like change the world and rule the world if I want to.
Supplements everything else.
This is what allows you to jump on a bike or get in a car to get from point A to point B, to give a speech, to blah, 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 to make clothes, blah, blah, blah. So like, it's like, whoa. I'm like, damn, I should probably sharpen this. Like, I should probably sharpen this tool. So I'm like, oh man, okay, I should probably take working out and like health a bit more seriously. And then basically I just put myself on timeout.
Movement.
Yeah. I just put myself on timeout.
Timeout?
Yeah. I was like, you're on timeout. I felt because when Tim left, it's like, okay, what am I going to do? Oh, I'm going to go watch BoJack Horseman and eat a bowl of cereal. I'm like,
what's that going to do? Yeah.
I'm like, you're just doing it because that's what you do.
Yeah.
What if you just did nothing?
And eat cereal. That's what you do.
Oh, bro, that's ritual. So the entire time it's like phone, a source of entertainment, and then food. I'm like, but like, come on. So I'm like, I'm putting you on timeout right now. So I'm like, I'm pacing in the marathon. I'm like, from now on, you're not gonna touch shit. You're just gonna
that's so
stay
crazy.
there.
Like, just the willpower to say no. You're not eating. You're not eating today. 24 hours.
It was cool to put myself in that state because it was like, oh, okay, doing this now under that influence and that altered state doesn't mean that I can't do it when I'm not in that state. That state just shows you everything you can do, actually. That's what it's life the trailer, right? So it's like
life the trailer. Life one.
That separation that you get, which is just pure awareness. That's all it is. That's all you do when you're in that. You're just purely aware, both of the good and bad. That's what a bad trip is. You're just fully aware of the negative. And you're like, whoa, it's just in your face. So yeah, I was like, no, just gonna stay here. You're just gonna do nothing. Bro, a trip is like 12 hours. I didn't touch I sat in the dark for like a good time. Doesn't make sense in that state. So it was probably like 5 hours. I was just sitting there in the dark, just sitting. I just sat. I just sat. And how loud shit gets when you're just, that's where that thing I wrote comes. It's in the moments of stillness that everything starts to move. Bro, I came up with like 3 of the most perfect, most beautiful songs. But then I realized you can do that anytime. And the part that you're in charge of is just translating it. The perfect idea is already in your head. The challenge, the game is just figuring out how to express it. And you get a bit closer every time. I played the most perfect guitar solo in my head. But if I picked up a guitar and tried to play it, I can't. Because that's where it's translation. And translation is the skill that you have to build within everything else.
And like
you have a clothing idea, and it's so perfect.
Watching Ido Portal, like, bro, he's doing backflips like nothing. Like,
and it looks so effortless, right?
He started with capoeira, so he's doing like beautiful movements that look like he's dancing, but like it's so difficult. I want to be able to do that.
It's artful. It's like it looks as beautiful as like.
And he also he gives like very like low hanging fruits that you can do to even just start on the journey. Like start hanging, start squatting. One thing that I've been doing is spinal wave.
What's that?
It's exactly what it sounds like. Exactly. Bro, you do this like against the wall, your back just like feels so much better because when you're actually moving, like there's spinal fluid in your spine.
Isn't that why we did yoga? Isn't that the story you said? It's like when we would sit in meditation, your body would go into what? Like atrophy or something you called it?
Yeah, well, when you don't move, everything calcifies, right? Yeah. And if you don't explore this range of movement, all you do is this range of movement. This range of movement is going to calcify. Yeah. You're not going to have it in your arsenal. And
that's probably what yoga does.
It's a tool, like anything else. Like if all you do is yoga, but you're a soccer player, you probably should be spending more time doing other stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But if you're like just a normal person, you want to be healthy, you want to like make sure your organs work, you have this range of motion, that range of motion. It's a great tool. Yeah. And that's why the movement perspective is, bro, this shit blew my mind. It's so simple, but fuck. Like you can transfer it to anything.
Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. That's Apple's philosophy. Like when they first did it, like the first brochure.
Say it again.
So simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. Because simplifying something is actually so complicated.
To boil it down to very understandable
to just
terms.
boil it down. You should be able to pull a product out and not need a manual. That's how you should see it. That's simplicity. And there's simplicity, and then there's just like ridiculous minimalism where it's like it's not even functional. Yeah. It's not even convenient. It's just you're ecstatic. But
it'll end up on no
simplicity is
eloquence.
just practically when it's practically and theoretically simple, that's when it's the best. That's why Apple is the most valuable company in the world right now. Because it lost its way.
Bro, speaking on that, like I just watched a documentary yesterday or 2 days ago, like on China and how they're fucking surveilling everything. Bro, real time.
Yeah.
Real time, everything's like your face.
I didn't know it was like that.
Clothes, your height, bro. They're easily ahead of Apple.
Oh yeah,
there's no like.
China's powerful, bro. We source all our shit
and
from China.
Alex Jones was saying like, Apple, just join us or die. Like Huawei's gonna fucking kill you. You know?
Yeah. China. Bro, what the fuck is this World War shit?
Bro. Like the Iran shit, that's I don't even know what's apparently some second most powerful person in Iran got murdered.
I heard the niggas sent airstrikes, and then in the airstrike the one of the more powerful people died, and then there's like a threat of like war happening. But what's funny, oh my God, the world is so confused. We're so confused.
Bro, riots all over, fucking wildfires.
We're so confused, bro.
And people are just like on their phones, hey, this, and we're all guilty of this.
Yeah.
What do we do? What do we do? What do we do?
Humor is sick, but to get on Twitter and to see that it's just a bunch of memes when shit could actually be like seriously going down. Like nothing's that serious. Everything is a joke, yes.
Trivialized.
But yeah, it's like the first thing niggas do is just see it as an opportunity for likes and retweets.
It's like oh, you do yoga? Like
it's funny, but it's like, man, like this seems to be serious.
It's like, that's why like I kind of don't participate in it. Like if I see it, I'm like, fuck, that's fucked up.
Like I laugh about it too. It's like, oh shit, like ha, that's fucking crazy. But then it's like,
wait, people are suffering. People are getting like.
It's like, wait, like, what's the point of all? Like, what's the point of all of this?
And if
why is war still a thing?
If you really question like existence in God, like why? Like, okay, you're actually the greatest comedian ever, God, but why does it have to go this route? And where is the end of the tunnel? Like, where does it lead? And why this way?
Yeah, man, I don't nothing's. Everything's a joke, but it's like, you know, like we could just do something about it. We could do something about
Can we though? Like, well,
I mean, as in like, are we just gonna stay here and make memes? Like, is that all we're gonna do? While reality is happening, we're just gonna make memes and just like.
And okay, and then you take it to the next stage: riots on the street.
Yeah.
What happens next?
Oh yeah, Paris. But that's Eckhart talks about that too. It's
India too, bro.
Like turn on the news, and that's all you see is the negative. And it's easy to get into a scarcity mindset from that. There's abundance. There's like abundance is a big thing. And oh, I wish I could find the quote. Oh my God, that chapter was so beautiful. I almost cried when I read it. I was like, oh my God. That makes so much sense. Oh, like, oh my God, this makes so much sense. I was like, oh my God. Oh man, I wish I could find it. But shit is wildin'. We're just 3 days into New Year, and shit is going crazy already. But
no more chairs, 2020.
That was a funny tweet. Oh fuck it, bro. There's nothing wrong with silence.
No. Take your time, bro. Do you?
Oh no, I just removed. Oh, God damn it. This is my favorite way to take notes.
Post-its.
Doesn't matter. We have endless episodes to talk about things. I'll go through all the notes and but yeah. If there's one thing I realize is there's fast food everything. There's fast food music, there's fast food clothing, there's fast food, there's fast
YouTube.
food, the shitty version that is kind of good, but doesn't really long term doesn't help. So in terms of my work, I think spiritual revolution, and how we're talking about how like it's coming, it's resurfacing. It's never been gone. It's never not been there. It's resurfacing how strong like spirituality is becoming, because materialism, we're realizing, oh my God, surprise, materialism is not everything that exists. Like, oh my God, having $1 million is not all there is to life. So everyone's just, oh my God, and it's being manifested.
And some people
so
won't
much.
figure it out until they actually get everything they want.
Yeah,
Realize,
right? Which is when it's too late, because you're like 50 and you're like, oh shit.
Wrong ladder.
Oh man. This is not the fucking meaning of life. This is not what brings me happiness. Oh
imagine
no,
the fucking,
let me kill myself.
Like, emptiness.
Void.
Sorry, you're saying.
But yeah, it's like everything is being explicitly shown to us how surface level mastering material based reality is not all there is, because that's why all this shit is happening, because we thought it was the answer and we've been pursuing it so much, and now we realize it's not, but we're so invested that we're just keep fucking going, and we're destroying ourselves in the process.
And even our scientific like process or scientific paradigm, it's just materialism right now. There's nothing. It's only things you can see.
And it's kind of shifting, because we're like, oh,
slowly,
fuck, it's not all there is, right?
Resonance.
Joe, that's what Joe Dispenza is trying to do, right? So that's the thing that's what I realized yesterday with the video Paloma sent, and it just brought back Nikola Tesla to my head, and I realized, like, bro, like he's been credited with so many things that have led to other shit, right? To what, like he set the little dots, and then the dots got picked up and connected. Because people slept on him because he was so ahead of his.
I bet you can reference everything we're saying to this picture.
Oh, bro.
Anyways, chair.
Looking at this while chirping is insane. It's insane. Like, ugh. Anyways, everything's just connected. Anyways. R.I.P. Ramdas. I lost my train of thought. But basically, spirituality is kind of surfacing. Anyways, Nikola Tesla was balanced. There's intellect and there's intuition. We're so focused here on pushing intellect to the max. Like, we're intellect, like rational. We just use rational brain. Is this logical? Left brain. Is this logical? Blah, blah, blah. How do I... Everything is just solved with the mind. And the Eastern ones, it's to intuition only. Nikola Tesla was right in the middle.
Even when you... Yeah, I mean...
Intuition, I prefer. I prefer intuition 100%.
But even, bro, they were dissecting like dead bodies and shit.
Yeah, but the thing is, what happens is it gets to a point where you can't communicate.
You can't transfer,
You can't communicate it. That's where true. Intellect comes in. You can communicate it well. That's what
put it on paper, quantifiable.
Yeah. So it's like we know what the fucking answer to life is, but first we need to experience it. We need to be able to show it and express it, and that takes a lifetime to master. That's Nikola Tesla was into all the weird universe shit, like vibration, frequency and shit, but he still managed to practice it and put it into practical words, and he ends up being one of the most important scientists of all time. One of the most influential, like Albert Einstein got asked, what does it feel like to be the smartest man alive? And he said, I don't know, you'd have to ask Nikola Tesla. Like he was bright man, and he got slept on because he was so ahead. Like he was still too, in the sense of people couldn't really understand what he was trying to communicate.
Also financial interests.
Exactly, that's where intellect comes in. Like he didn't have access to the money, and people who had access to the money didn't want to give it to him to help him express his ideas. So like he was a balanced man in terms of he had the intellect to make shit happen in the scientific realm, but also the intuition to know that everything is, like, he was into the numbers and like all that weird shit,
369,
all the weird shit, all the new age shit.
Yeah.
So the balance. This is all to say, my fucking work now, I think you could make a good song, or you can make a good song that helps someone transcend themselves. that's the music you listen to. It's music that is so fucking gut. Like, fella, it's just if he has to
anger,
if he has
sorrow,
to
you feel that
yell
shit.
and not make sense for 5 minutes, he'll do it. If he has to make a song where it's just instrumental, he'll do it.
He literally has like gibberish.
It's expression. It's like it's not only intellect. What do I have to say to communicate in the song? Does it have to be chorus, hook, chorus, like chorus, verse, chorus? No, like you could. It's about what you're trying to. Basically, it's like you can make a good song, or you can make a good song and be helpful in the process.
And that's the thing too with music, like sound, rhythm, vibration, bro. Like shamans, like tribes, they've used drums and like rhythm to actually achieve like transcendence or like those states, you know.
Yeah.
So it is a tool.
Yeah.
But where do you see that tool going right now? Fuck this. That's money. Yeah.
Bitch.
I like the song,
bro. And that's the thing that happened to me. This new Jack Boys album came out. It's Travis Scott and Company. It's his label. And like there's a song in there that I really like. But then when I listen to it, I'm like,
why?
Because it's like, gang. Okay. How can I lose? I'm in the crib with your boo. I'm in the crib with you. Like it's like, oh my God, they're not even saying it. Like,
dude, those lyrics are fucking crazy, man.
Bro, like,
how'd you come up with that, man?
And it's like, it's cool because it's like, it's the feeling.
Catchy, yeah.
It's
People
feeling.
enjoy
There's
it.
flow. There's the beat. I actually enjoy this. I've been listening to it a lot, but then it's like,
right, substance.
Will I be listening to it in 5 years? Just
and
like we listened to Billie Jean.
That's my beef.
Just like we listened to Billie Jean today when a nigga's been dead for 10 years. Like it's the spirit is like it's intellectually sick, but like it's not lasting. It's fast food.
It's not
like,
nutritious.
You can have McDonald's. It's fucking amazing. But then
it's not that
feel like
amazing.
shit, don't feel that great after. You can't like function.
And if you're really like sensitive to like your taste buds or like just bro, it doesn't taste real food to you. It doesn't taste like real food to you.
Like at this point, I go to McDonald's. I'm like,
it's nasty, bro. You taste the plastic in it.
At this point, I'm going to McDonald's for a milkshake. That's everything
At
else is like or
up.
breakfast, like, but like, everything else is just like, it just feels fast. It just feels like
I'm
something.
fasting today, by the way, by accident.
Oh, say word.
Yeah. Water fast.
I wanted to fast Sunday
or no water fast. Sorry,
no water.
I just wanted to feel like what it would be like. I feel like not even that. Like I'm okay, bro. I feel like the first sip of water you have, it tells your body, yes, you're getting some today. Expect more. But I haven't had any. I feel fine. I even worked out too. I feel fine.
It's a tool, bro.
Cold shower, everything.
Your body just makes suggestions, and you just choose.
Bro, I wanna show you the spinal wave. Let's do it now on video.
I mean, do it. I'm not gonna fucking do it.
Well, you can watch. Well, I don't even know if it'll be on camera, but basically,
thank you guys for listening. This was a long episode. I'm back. Basically, I want to put spirituality more into what I do and the state. Like you've heard some songs and they've made you want to cry. Like the song just felt different in terms of what it provided for you. You felt like songs that save your life, quote unquote. Like, and it's just a fucking song. Right. So why does it save your life? Because there's an intent and an idea of communicating there. It's not just a song just to be a song. Yeah. And it's like, I can do that. You can help people in the process of making something good. And that makes it great because you're helping. So that's cool. Anyways.
Yeah, to end on a good note, I was just about to bring it. Yeah, it's good. It's good. Give us money. 2020.
Hopefully the war doesn't happen, but if it does, then sure.
Yeah. I am.
Anyways, do what you gotta do. Is that what you?
Yeah. But like, it's actually hard. Like if you've never done it before, like you feel all these blocks in your spine.
It feels unconventional.
Weird.
Exactly.
Dude, you're so fucking weird, man. Stop being so weird.